What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about the newest news on Crytek and the potential of a Crysis 4. Now, we've gone back and forth on this channel on Podcast Now, talking about what the heck is going on over there with the April Fool's joke that was originally thought of as an April Fool's joke about a Crysis remaster. But then, as time has moved on and on and on, very much seems like that was not an April Fool's joke. Not taking it down. The Crysis Twitter handle obviously coming back online, seemingly indicating that yes, a Crysis remaster does seem to be in the works. However, that was as of a couple days ago. Now, yesterday we got word that Crytek is hiring, actually not one, but multiple. One in particular has kind of got people leading towards it, but multiple people for their next AAA game. So here's what it says. Crytek is looking for a motivated and passionate senior rendering engineer with a focus on real-time ray tracing for the CryEngine team in their Germany studio. Now, they've been talking up the ray tracing, how excited they are for that feature. They talked about that with the PS5 quite a bit. This very much sounds like something that they'd be doing for Crysis. And again, all of this other news building up kind of, again, in the background that, Crysis does seem to be making a return, definitely, I think, leans towards a Crysis 4. Now, the biggest question is, here really is the biggest thing is, are we all kind of confused on what's going on? Is it really two things going on, or is it just one? So all of the stuff we've been hearing about for the past couple days, coming back, or the Crysis Twitter coming back online, was that kind of indicating, like, yes, that April Fool's joke wasn't a joke, like we're doing that, but also we're doing a rematch, or we're also doing a new game, a Crysis 4, or was that remaster actually a joke? They never took it down for some reason, and instead of that, they're doing a 4 in general. It'll be interesting to see what they do. I think it makes the most sense, and we've talked about it again here on Podcast Now, on that I think it makes the most sense to do a remaster first and then the game. And it could also just be from a logical point of view in their heads that they are testing. We've talked about this before, right? Like the pulse test. They're testing to see if people still want this franchise. Now, I would say one of the biggest things they're known for is Crysis. So it could be a dumb question, like, do people want Crysis? Well, we could do other games. Again, they've just done Hunt Showdown, and that game is actually a very, very solid game. But obviously, like, they would return to Crysis. So I can see how you could poke holes in the argument, but I think overall, it makes the most sense. It skipped out on this entire generation. I believe, 2013 was Crysis 3, so that was last gen. That was right at the tail end of last gen. We have not had it on this current gen. Now, the interesting thing is if you do a remaster, and if it comes out, say, because I think I've seen a couple of sites say, like, could it be 2021? So say it doesn't even come out this year. Say the remaster comes out in 2021. Do you do the remaster for next gen and current gen? Otherwise, you've skipped an entire generation and you're going directly to PS5 and Series X. Another thing to think about too is it's a senior engineer, okay? So it's like the top of the line. They are literally, I believe, building this game. So the thing you have to read into that, and we've read into that a couple different times for a couple different games, is you got to pay attention to those kind of headlines of what the job listings are. Again, this indicates kind of like the beginning of something. They're not looking for somebody on a contract. They're not looking for somebody in like a smaller position that you could very easily see that people kind of rotate in and out of, right? If people leave the company, people come in. They're not doing that. Instead, they're hiring for people literally to, what it seems like, is to build this game, build especially the new technology around this game. So whenever you see stuff like that, that definitely does seem to indicate that it's in the early phases. So would be weird to have all this talk of the Crysis remaster to then say, no, it was actually Crysis 4, but you're going to have to wait like 2 to 3 years because we got quite a lot of work ahead of us. Doesn't really seem like that's the plan of attack. And I think, again, it makes a lot more sense because you have the Crysis remaster, again, say it comes out late this year, early next year. You have that come out. You have the Crysis core base, be reinvigorated by it, and then you only have to wait 1 to 2 years, let's say, for the next Crysis game to come out versus you having to wait like the entire, I guess you would be technically subtracting 1 year from your overall wait time if you didn't have the remaster. But at this point in the game, again, I think so many people are excited for the remaster. I think so many people that we can even just tell based off of the April Fool's prank and all the stuff since then, you can see like there is still a crowd. I think they've already kind of won and achieved what they were probably hoping to set out for, in that, like, do we still have people that are interested in these games? games, I mean, it's a resounding yes, right? Because everybody wants to play this remaster. Everybody's talking about it. I think it definitely helps that there's not really much else going on gaming-wise besides like Resident Evil leaks every day. It's really Resident Evil and Crysis have been the two main talking points, even of the channels, which is pretty funny to imagine a world like that. But I really think that should come first. That should happen. But really, this is good news because this, again, and you could even look at it from a different way. Let's say if you want to try and go at that this isn't Crysis 4, or that you're hoping that this is Crysis 4, I think there is good news there. Because again, if the first game is the remaster, and if the April Fool's prank and all that stuff was true, the remaster comes out first. The remaster would be almost done by this point, right? And so what they're hiring for right now, this unannounced AAA game, this is not that remaster. This is something new. So, at the very least, it means if we get, so I guess, again, like if we say the very least of things, forget about the remaster. At the very least, we're getting a AAA, a new game from Crytek, which is very good news. And again, if you want to throw in that remaster, you can probably connect the dots and say, well, it can't be that because that's too far in development for you to be hiring for things like this, right? Why would you use ray tracing? Why would you need somebody this high up for a game development point of view? Why would you need somebody like this if the game is coming out like in 6 to 8 months? You wouldn't. You would need this guy or this girl, whoever it ends up being, if the game, or to start the game up off the ground, right? So I think, Crysis fan-wise, very, very good news. I'm not even the biggest, I've talked about it. I'm not like the most massive Crysis fan in the world. I definitely loved Crysis 2 and Crysis 3. I've talked about it. I really, really love the multiplayer. But you know what? As with all these things, I'm not the biggest fan of every single thing that's out there. I know I talk about a lot of different things. I think I'm a fan of a lot of stuff, but the funny thing is the more I talk about Crysis, like with you guys here and on podcast now, I become more into it. So I would say I'm probably like a medium level like Crysis fan. I don't know if you want to like connect like a number score to that, but I would say the more I talk about it, the more I myself am getting very excited. And like I've said, I really, really want that remaster of the Crysis franchise. I really hope it comes with multiplayer. That is something that I would absolutely play a ton of. So I'm definitely hoping. And then Crysis 4, that's even better news, especially if it comes after a remaster. But even if it's the only thing we get, that's still good news as well. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Do you think this new game that they're hiring for, do you think it is Crysis 4? Do you think the remaster is real? When do you think it's going to come out? All that kind of stuff. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And you guys have done an insane job, honestly, of supporting the channel. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. I do a new video on this channel every single day, and so I hope to see you guys on tomorrow's video.